We're here. Yo, we going live. Sorry, let me get my hat together. What's going on, people? What's going on? This is a segment, a quick hit segment of Hip Politics live stream, live and direct. Um, don't normally go live, but we had to today because there was some breaking news that I hope everybody, no matter what side of the aisle, whether you're in politics, not in politics, this is the changing of a major guard, probably one of the biggest gangsters, and I say gangsters almost affectionately, but one of the biggest political leaders um, in definitely in modern U.S. history, decided to finally step down before the Lord set him down or others set him down. Senator Mitch McConnell of Kentucky. He's the Senate, currently the Senate Minority Leader. He's also held the Senate Majority Leader when the Republicans have been in control of the United States Senate. Mitch McConnell, aka Cocaine Mitch. I didn't give him that name. You can look on the internet quickly. There's T-shirts you to this day you could still buy, and you see them all over the country. But he announced today that he would be stepping down as the Republican leader in November after a record 17 years in the position. He's one of the most consequential, most powerful Senate leaders in United States in the history of this country. He has fought with presidents. He has fought with other members of the aisle. He's fought with his own party and always comes out on top. You may remember, it might have been that time. I mean, the dude is pretty old, but it's not about his age. It's about his health. You can quickly, I would encourage anybody to, after you watch this video, after you get off the live, to say, hey, Mitch McConnell freezing. He had some incidents that were tried to explain away where he had some freezing moments at press conferences, both in his home state and then also even in the U.S. Senate. And no, that still hasn't been explained, but that was from last summer. And he just hasn't been looking as healthy. But don't sleep on Mitch. I mean, sleep on him if you dare, because Mitch McConnell, like I said, he's when they say he's one of the most consequential, most powerful U.S. senators that has ever lived and has ever been in this country. Why is that? If you remember back when Barack Obama was in office and he had the opportunity to put what he wanted to put through a Senate, through a Supreme Court justice, Mitch held it off for over a year. Then held it off for over a year plus. When that was an unprecedented move, like a current president, that's one of the things you're able to do is able to nominate Supreme Court justices. Now it's up for you to get the Senate to approve them and to confirm them. But Mitch utilized his power and his political savvy to put that off. But what he did, because he claimed it was an election year, it wasn't. It wasn't. But he was an extreme hypocrite on this because then when President Donald Trump came in his election year, you remember the unfortunate passing of Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She died. He pushed through a U.S. Supreme Court nominee after Trump lost the election. That's just one of many things. He shaped the courts. He shaped how politics is done. He has been a deny person. I just encourage you to do your due diligence and learn more about Mitch McConnell. And like I said, I call him a gangster because one way, in an affectionate way, I would say in hip hop, how we would call somebody gangster if they pull a move like, "Dang, that joint was gangster." How did he pull that off? How did he be able to assert his power? Um, he's done it. But now there's a race to fill that power vacuum after November. And while November is several months away, don't get it sleep. Don't get it twisted. The Senate is going to be a twist and turning place as people jockey for the position, because this is one of those things. Like you said, he served for over 17 years just in that one position from the state of Kentucky. There's been a lot of names thrown around, but I just wanted to run through I would say probably the top three, maybe four, let's say top three candidates who people are watching that may come behind him and lead the Republican Party in the U.S. Senate. If we had to say who's in first place, and I think who is most likely to get it, is Senator John Thune of South Dakota. He's currently the number two Republican in the Senate, the whip. So that means he's responsible for getting votes together when the Republicans in the Senate need to make sure different issues are covered. And so everybody votes for these things, votes for any legislation, or if they want to unify and block a vote, it is Senator Thune who meets with the various members, figures out what their interests are, and he really plays the politics of the game to put that together. So Senator John Thune, again from South Dakota, is these smaller states that you don't see as like big powerhouses in the country, but some of their senators, especially the ones that are locked in and know they're going to get reelected, actually wield so much more power in the Senate because you know they're going to be there. He's a relatively, I would say, moderate streak, but he has endorsed Trump twice. Even most recently, just this past Sunday, he endorsed Trump's 2024 bid. But he is 62 years old, so he's got probably a long runway to be able to run for Senate. He even contemplated leaving in 2021, but in the 2022 cycle, he easily won his race. This is something where he's led the Republican conference for years, as well as the Republican Policy Committee. So those are roles that allow him to be able to build relationships across the U.S. Senate, both in the Republicans and even in the Democratic side, and kind of really knows how to what buttons to push for different senators. Next up, I think somebody who really wanted the job, but then also contemplated leaving the Senate, has been there over 20 years now, is Senator John Cornyn of Texas. Now, he's already 71, so it's like, how long would he really hold that job, or is he going to run again? But he's a former associate justice at the Texas Supreme Court and also served as the state attorney general for the state of Texas. So he comes from a very powerful state, a lot of money behind him. He used to be the whip before Senator John Thune took over that. But he also has led the Senate, the campaign arm of the Senate GOP. So he's responsible for getting people this bread. He's been responsible for getting the money for so many senators. So I'm pretty sure he's got a ton of favors in his pocket if he really wants to make a strong push for the Senate Minority Leader post when Mitch leaves. Then lastly, out of Wyoming, you've got Senator John Barrasso. Now, he's more of a long shot, and it's likely that maybe he won't actually get the role. He probably may take over as whip, depending on whoever ascends to power. And so that he's being positioned there. But if, say, Senator Thune or Senator Cornyn that we talked about don't get the votes they need, he's probably going to jump in the race. He replaced Senate in 2007. He was appointed to the Senate and then has won a few re-elections since when Senator Craig Thomas of Wyoming passed away. But he's really moved up the ranks, and he's right now the chair of the Republican Policy Committee, which is probably one or two most powerful committees in the U.S. Senate for the Republican side. So I just wanted to make sure you guys are checking in on this. Like, this has been a game changer day in U.S. politics, and it affects us. It affects us because whether they're in the minority or majority, the leaders of the parties of the Senate right now, on the Democratic side, Mitch McConnell's counterpart, the Senate Majority Leader out of New York, is these majority and minority leaders are the ones who really are kind of like right there next to the president and right there next to the Speaker of the House in terms of some of the most powerful people in federal government. So this is your boy Cameron Calvin checking in. Just wanted to give you guys a quick highlight and update right here on YouTube Live on Hip Politics, the live stream. And with that, we out. Peace.